Guys, what's up? Coach Aaron here. I know it's been a really long time. I actually just kind of was feeling the urge. It was on my heart actually to hop online here and to record a video and just kind of, I don't know, put it out in the universe. I know that the channel has not really had a lot of videos lately. I want to explain that a little bit and also just kind of what's been going on. So really since the last time that I was consistently uploading, I know I was training for the Ironman. Now, as an athlete, right, as a competitor, it's hard to kind of talk about failures. It's kind of hard to talk about when you don't succeed at something you put your mind out to. But with that, basically what boils down to, I was in the middle of training. I felt like I was in a really good groove. I was struggling a bit with my swimming, but at that time, which would have been last January, so about 18 months ago now, 19 months ago now, I trained all week and then went to Vegas and then found a lump in my armpit. Now, for those of you guys that know about Google, okay, and looking up lump in armpit, nothing good comes back. And so I remember it. I was in the room, I was with Obi, and I found it and it was pretty big. And I was like, oh, son of a, okay. And luckily for me, one of the participants there, his father was a doctor. I sent him a picture. The next day he looked at it and he was like, I don't think it's anything, but as you know, the wheels start to turn. And long story short, I spent the better part of about 6 to 8 weeks, basically just having pure anxiety, looking things up, not looking things up, checking at it, looking at it, poking at it, prodding at it every day. I had stopped my training because of that. And then it ended up culminating into going to the hospital and really like having blood work done. Some other things happened, but basically it really just took me out of rhythm and kind of messed me up mentally for a while. So I stopped my training with that. And obviously for a long time after that, not only the health side, but just like feeling like I was being a little bit of a wuss, kind of kept myself down for a little bit. Right now, for those of you that know me, I'm not a Debbie Downer. I'm not someone that focuses on negatives at all. So for this to like affect me the way that it did, kind of tells you just how much it was weighing on my mind and my heart. But, obviously we moved past that. During that time, there's a couple things happening, right? So the camps were still rolling. Punt Factory Australia was still rolling. That last class with Bo Meester, with Patty Turner, Pat Ray, all those guys, we ended up getting them all over here to the States. So that was doing well. And really it was just, working on myself, hanging out with my son, hanging out with my family, and continuing to grow the business. Now, as you guys know as well, right? Me personally, I always view myself as a coach, right? As someone that's not a business person, but the last like 6 months, for whatever reason, I've really been, manifesting, thinking about how can I not only grow the business, but make it a better business, make it better for you guys, right? Make it better for people that, believe in me. From a resume perspective, Danny made it. So Danny got signed by the Packers after having a great year in the XFL. For those of you guys who don't know who I'm talking about, Dan Whalen has been a student of mine since the 11th grade. I mean, we've trained hundreds of times, and the kid is living his dream right now, punting for the Packers. Ryan's obviously now with the Vikings. Jake got signed by the Dolphins, and then Jamie's having a Pro Bowl year up at the Giants. So, right now, from a resume perspective, at the top level, obviously, an eighth of the NFL has come through the Punt Factory, which is such a blessing and so cool. As I always say, you guys are my resume, right? So it's been great to watch them on Sundays. At the college level, I put a little graphic up a couple months ago, but it's somewhere between like 90 and 100 kids we have at all levels, right? And that's talking JUCO, that's talking Division 1, 2, 3. And I know that I'm missing some. But obviously, I feel like with each one of those guys, they can call me at any time, right? I can text them and we can chat. So I feel like they're a good representation of, myself, what we teach, what we believe in. And then obviously with high school, this fall we added Nashville. We've grown Seattle quite a bit. So there's just a lot of good things happening. But I've still felt like that there's more to give. Now, flashback to about 6 months ago, I got contacted by Brad Charalambous, formerly with One-on-One UK. And basically, we started talking about kind of coming together and building up, the Punt Factory building up special teams in the UK and Europe. Now, for those of you guys that know, right, I'm a massive Gooner, right? I'm a big Arsenal fan. I've been to Europe multiple times. I've only been to the UK, to England specifically once to watch Arsenal pre-COVID, but this is something that I was like, okay, I want to roll with this. Now, he's predominantly had kickers there. There is a big punting, scene there, but they've not really had like a true punting coach. So for me, it felt like, okay, this is a sign, right? This is the next expansion of the business. So over the last 6 months, we've been communicating almost daily, really trying to talk about ideas and how we want to run this. And then really this last couple of weeks, it's really kind of blown up and we've announced it. We made a logo for the Punt Factory UK, and we've announced our first camp, which is going to be December 3rd at Loughborough University, which is in the Midlands, right? From everything I understand, I'm not an English expert yet. I know where each Premier League stadium is, but I couldn't tell you exactly where the smaller universities are. But I'm really looking forward to that. I think between Brad's passion and myself and our vision that we share, I think there's a big opportunity to grow into the UK. Realistically, there's also, I think only 2 UK-based specialists in the NFL. Both, have come from our academy, right, from the Punt Factory. Jamie's obviously doing his thing, and he was long before the Punt Factory, but he was a good friend, someone that we've worked with, and then obviously Danny being from Ireland and Jamie from Scotland. So I think there's a real opportunity there to grow the punting side. Jamie and I had a really good conversation last week about working with and targeting rugby players up in the area that he's from, right, Scotland, and just seeing what we can do with that. But branching into the UK, branching into Europe is something that is a lot of fun to me. Sounds a lot of fun to me, and also just is something that I think, from my perspective, right, from the Punt Factory brand, it's something that I feel like not only do I want to be a top punting coach, if not the top punting coach here domestically, but if we can grow the brand, and we've already been in Australia and been successful, if we can now grow it and move into Europe, into the UK, I think it's something that it's just will like scratch an itch, right? Be something where we could grow it into more of a global brand, and hopefully that grows into something where we can help with teaching coaches in the UK, teaching coaches in Europe, right? Growing the special teams game there. I just think there's a lot there to have, and I think the next year will really tell us, where we are, what we need to work on, as well as continuing to grow here in the States. So the focus, right, is really moving into, making it global. With Australia, from everything I understand and conversations that we've had as a staff, we're going to rebrand that. I'm not quite sure that it's going to be Punt Factory Australia anymore, but we're still going to work on bringing, Australian athletes over. And what that looks like, it's to be seen soon. But, I'm really excited to kind of continue to work here domestically, and then now into the UK and Europe. So we've got a great team put together. Obviously myself, Brad, we've got Darren here in the States, Dwayne, Dylan, everybody that works with us. I think really going into 2024, there are some things that I'd like to accomplish personally and also with the Punt Factory, right? So a couple ideas that I'll elaborate more as we go along would be the Punt Factory kind of buddy system, which I'll discuss, but I'm looking at pairing up some of our college players with high school players, and just giving the high school players someone that they can look up to, a mentor that, aside from myself, also with the college guys, starting to get them involved to give back to, the younger players where they were. So that's something we're working on, which I think will be awesome. Growing the camps, obviously. And then, really from there, guys, it's something that, the recruiting side, the consulting side is where I think this is going to go, expanding my network with collegiate coaches. So there's a lot, right, going on. But from a business perspective, I just want to continue to do right by you guys. I'd like to make, the Punt Factory the biggest punting brand, specialist brand in the world. And evolve that to where, we're partnered and working with, obviously with Sailor and those guys, but kicking coaches, obviously like Brad, and really just do more for that community. teach coaches how to coach it. I know a lot of the guys that I talk to, that's something big on their minds. And I mean, what I mean by that is college guys, right? Kind of hoping and wishing that they had more work one-on-one. So if there's ways that I can do that, but kind of one thing at a time. And I'm excited. I really am. And I think that the Punt Factory as a brand, the way that I see it, right, will be, the brand, and then you'll have, private and individual coaching, you'll have camps, you'll have the partnership with Sailor, you'll have the partnership with United Kicking, Brad, and growing into the UK. Obviously, you'll still have the connection with Australia. We'll have the buddies. So there's a lot of things going to be moving on. And then eventually, right, just growing it to where we're bringing on, the next step would be bringing on coaches, right? Barney, Dave Harrington ran a camp for me in Virginia this weekend, did awesome. So growing it to the point where Dave can now go run, 2 or 3 camps. Barney can run a camp and lessons, and then really just starting to grow the ideology of what we believe in when it comes to coaching and providing top level punting coaching, right? So I'm excited. That's really all that's been going on. Finley's 5 years old now. He's running around. We just started, homeschooling with him. So he's starting to, grow up a little bit, which just sucks, but also is awesome. Kelly's doing great. So there's a lot going on, with that as well. But really, I just want to grow this brand, and I want to continue to do as well as I can. Hopefully going to see Ryan play on a Monday night game against the Bears here in a couple weeks. But for the next 6 weekends, man, it's Seattle this weekend, California next weekend, driving to Minnesota, being in Minnesota, going to the Monday night game, flying to Orlando literally the next morning, and then flying to London for a week, coming straight back, going to my company holiday party in Chicago, back to Minnesota, and then driving back here. So it's going to be a crazy 6 weeks, but I'm all for it. I'm excited for it. I'm very blessed to be able to do this. So that's a little bit of a catch up on kind of where we are. As always, you guys can reach out to me if you have any questions, any ideas how to make the brand better. But I'm excited to keep rolling, and I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this. And if no one watches it, great. If everyone watches it, great. But at the end of the day, it's just something I wanted to get off my chest, and also catch you guys up, and then really get back into creating content and making this more of a like I said, a global thing. So thank you guys for everything. Have a great weekend. If you're in the playoffs, kill it. Peace and love, and I'll talk to you guys soon.